Good afternoon. Welcome to the Friday, May 16th of 2025 public meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank's Acquisition, Disposition, and Construction Committee. My name is Mike. I serve as the meeting's moderator. And with that, I turn the meeting over to the chair of this committee, Ms. Barbara Ioannidis. Is that right?
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. So I appreciate you putting together a draft agenda for the meeting, and we will start with the Keystone project. So we'll start with construction updates. Owen.
Sure. Hi.
Hi, thanks.
So somewhat steady state, except our last two Keystone houses, Grand Street and Hasbrook Avenue, are nearing the end game for their projects. I don't know if last month we were close or had just been awarded the demolition permit in addition to our renovation permits for those properties to take down the garage and the shed. So that we're all set permit wise for those properties to get finished up. I'll pull up the tracker, but just I think that's the major news on those properties.
Okay, great.
Okay, here we go. So 4 houses. This one house sold, 3 houses being checked on and dealing with little issues to make people happy or wrap up the projects. Grand Street's got floors finished and trim going up on the inside. It's largely finished and painted on the outside. Light fixtures are in, cabinets are being worked on, tiles being worked on. Hasbrook, same as being trimmed on the inside. Floors are down, working on tile now. Schedule wise, on track, and couple little hanging items that might come in at the last moment of the project, but overall projects are on track for their schedule. And same story as previous months, Grand Street having pretty much worked through its contingency, but project wise, we have a healthy amount of contingency left. And yeah, most of the change order stuff we're dealing with is things that have been on the radar for a long time and just taking their time, like getting details worked out and getting put into contract. So, questions before I move on to, or do you not want to talk about the Grand Street, 46 Grand Street yet? Well, let me start with any questions.
Yeah, well, I don't have any questions yet. I think we could probably jump ahead to the Grand Street. It's on the agenda.
Okay, great. I just wanted to alert you that we've started the monitoring for abatement today. So abatement will actually happen on asbestos abatement will happen on Monday at that property, but monitoring starts today. So that's the new phase at that property, and the idea is to get abatement done and roll into demolition. So that's and that was something that happened in the past month, is we got abatement and demolition permits from the city for that property. yeah, I think that's the update for that property.
Okay. Then I guess we'll move over to Kyle then to get financing and sales updates on Keystone.
You. Um. So. Cool. So here's the latest on the financing for Keystone. This will be updated prior to the board meeting with the next round of MIETA pay apps. So this is actually not too different from what was seen at the last board meeting. Just added some additional project soft costs. You can see we're getting close to fully drawn down on ARPA and LBI. Starting to need to pull down from Novo a little bit more. But wrapped up Chapel, Abbey, Stefan, and Gill for the most part, as Owen noted. And Hasbrook and Stefan, we're making good progress. About halfway drawn down on both of these properties, a little more. Gonna continue to be drawing down on LBI for the bulk of the rest of the project. And we'll start drawing down on Novo a little bit more for this last house. For the last construction hard cost that wasn't covered by ARPA and LBI. So happy to answer any questions people have here.
Is Grand just further along, or the 90% versus the 37%? Is that what that is, or like on the
There's just a
LPI
much
too?
higher, there's a larger budget
Okay,
of LBI funds for Hasbrook.
I see.
Yep.
So that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, similarly,
Yeah, so the
and less
budget.
rec. Right.
Okay.
Yep. No other questions? Latest on sales. We are, congrats to Mike and the team on the closing at 69 Gill Street. We have that was successfully completed on Tuesday, right? Tuesday? Yep. So always be closing there and moving quickly to closing with the rest of the homes. We are officially in contract. We're in contract on 20 Stefan. So we're on contract on the remaining 3 homes and moving forward towards closing as soon as possible on those. No more. Are any questions on the sales for Keystone?
No questions, but it's great, like very exciting.
Yeah, looking forward to our ribbon cutting next week and celebrating that.
Yeah. Since we touched on Grand, sorry, do you want to talk about that one, or we're set on that?
Yeah, I'll jump in quickly. So HIF on the agenda for Grand Street, that's the Housing Action Fund. That's the Ulster County grant source that we actually were awarded for 3rd Avenue. They launched their 2nd year of funding for this program, and the application deadline was today. And we submitted a $700,000 application, an application for $700,000 in funds for the Grand Street project. We had gotten 400,000 for the last project this year. We were able to apply for up to 700,000. So feeling pretty good about that. The application process was yeah, we didn't have a ton of headaches with it last time around, so hopefully that'll we'll get the same results that we got last year and be awarded those funds, which will go a long way towards the Grand Street program.
Well, Kyle's now the expert in Ulster County and Ulster County Housing Action Fund applications. So he secured some amazing support letters. I think we got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all Mike.
Well, one of us did it, but
Lettering.
we worked on it again. But Assemblymember Shrestha and Mayor Noble. So
Cool.
Great. Let's jump in then to the home program.
So thank you all for pushing things along over email for getting set up with a engineer architecture team for that. We're still waiting for them to finalize the contract, but I think we're there basically, and had our kickoff meeting with them yesterday morning. And so, yep, simultaneously like getting them started on site plans for those properties and getting the modular company to give us more information and give us feedback on what we're asking for, pricing feedback and buildability stuff. So yeah, right now we're entering into a couple weeks of finalizing site plans at this, same time confirming that what we want to do with the properties and the houses on those properties is gonna fit and work with zoning as we think, and lay out okay on the site. And then we keep chipping away at other to-dos, did soil lead testing, and I'm sure other things. Kyle, what else did
Yeah, we've got making slow and steady progress on the FUL/NEPA process. That's just the follow-up letter and the environmental work we need to do to get clearance on this project. Someone mentioned soil reports. We also got a wetland delineation report identifying that none of our properties are in wetlands. So just a bunch of things we need to check off the list, and we're making progress on all of them, moving forward. Yeah, not much to report there, just it's a long process, but working with HCR to get it done.
Great.
Is it the engineer that's gonna figure out the land, like how to deal with the land and what excavating and all that and retaining walls?
exactly?
Okay, so
Yeah.
we still don't have information on that yet until we have that locked in. The
Yeah.
engineer.
That's what. Yeah, they're starting on it now.
Okay, great.
They got the information to get started. We went over the properties and what we're looking to do yesterday, trying to communicate what ADC and design committee are looking for. And yeah, so they're gonna be getting back to us with either like, oh, our first idea just worked out, or it was a little tight in this corner, but here's 2 options, or hey, I really think you need to
Okay.
rethink what's going on this particular property. So what do you want to do about it?
All right, thanks.
Yep.
What is there a sequence of approval in terms of the relationship between the foundation engineering work and the construction of the modular designs? I mean, you have to get the modular designs approved from some state authority, or is that, yeah, and is there an order, or do they
Yeah.
both go to the state? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, basically we tell the modular company like, this is the house we're looking to build. Then the modular company draws up plans and is like, is this what you meant? And then we say yes. And then they go and engineer those plans, go through the process of getting it approved by the state, which is a separate process from what would usually deal with doing renovations or regular new construction, because their work is going to get built somewhere else. So then we take those plans and have our engineer design the foundation that that house is going to sit on. And so we'll already have that started because we have a good guess of what has to happen. We know that what the dimensions are, and we know kind of like what a 1-story wood frame house like weighs and that kind of thing. But and so then our foundation plan just gets designed and stamped by an engineer or architect. So that's sort of like more of a usual process. That part.
And then do you have to go to the planning board or whatever, or is the the new zoning keep you from having to do that?
Well, the projects that we're attempting are like by right projects. Like we're attempting to do a project that we should be able to walk into the building department and say, here's the thing we're allowed to do by right. And they say, yep, looks good.
Because it fits within the current zoning requirements.
Yeah, and doesn't correct. It's both allowed and not doesn't. It's not like a special use that requires some kind of extra review.
Okay, I'm just on the zoning committee, so I'm just curious, like, how does that actually work, since no one will ever let me walk through the whole process? I mean, I'm really actually interested in that, but I'm interested in that. And also obscure engineering questions. Do you think that you're gonna have to do or did this particular engineering firm, I don't remember if they suggested that you were gonna do soil tests or whatever it is for the stability of the soil to put the foundation down? That's what I understand those tests might be. Do you know if you're gonna do those?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and something we discussed with our in our interview with them, and I don't remember the answer of that, whether they wanted borings or not. We didn't talk about it yesterday, but they might not, they might want borings, or they might just want like a dig test where they, send an excavator out to see poke around and see what's under there. Or if it's a site where they feel like they can make some assumptions, they might make some assumptions. But yeah, ideally, we don't want to be surprised by things that we don't know are there.
No, so the sequence would be, we think this is pretty good, we're just gonna go ahead, or we're gonna take a digger out there and dig around and make sure we're okay. Or we dug around and now we're gonna go do some boring tests because we think we might have a problem. Is that sort of how that might work?
I will follow the engineer's lead for what they need for their design.
Excellent. And I know that, John, I heard that the design committee and Barbara did amazing stuff on the amended plans for the modular units. Is that work anywhere, Owen, that it can be viewed? Like the amended plans, design plans, or suggestions? As I understand it, you made suggestions to not for Joshua, who comes complete with his horn or whatever. For Joshua comes right complete, but there are 2 other houses that you made suggestions to the modular company on specific designs for. That's correct, right?
Yeah. So yeah, when I have something more finalized, I will share that.
Great,
Yes.
thank you. I'd just be interested.
Yeah, should be soon.
Okay, thanks.
I just have 2 updates, Barbara, if that's okay, on the pipeline.
Sure, right, the
Sweet.
19A and
19A is in reference to the new City of Kingston disposition policy that was recently updated. And so it's one of the 2 pathways that properties could be presented to the KCLB. This is the code enforcement, vacant and abandoned properties pathway. My only update is that we may this month be becoming aware of a judicial action, judicial ruling that has been given to the city of Kingston in relation to proceedings on 2 single-family homes. It may not come this month. It may be delayed. It's a little bit murky, and the city has said that it may take some time, but the date for return is the 24th of May. So we may have some updates this month on pipeline under 19A. My other update, just very briefly, the state budget has passed, I believe, based on press releases and other things I've seen today. It includes that $50 million in new funding under the Land Bank Initiative program, for which we've been asked to hop on a call with HCR on Monday and talk about new and innovative ways to obligate funds under this program. So stay tuned. Those are my updates. Thanks.
Thank you. I mean, unless anybody has questions, we've covered everything, and whoever can make it to the ribbon cutting would be awesome, and then we'll see you all on Monday.
Great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.